Had on me again there. Let me just change my gloves anyway because they're all oiled up. A couple of new ones on. And we were 99% separating the engine there. What we will have is a load of needle bearings that we're going to need to pick up and keep together. I have got spare ones, but it's best to keep the set as they were because they wear out at the same time. And all you put my teeth in, always replace them as a set. They're either 21 or 23 depending on the size of the needles. If you use a PX set in there, don't be surprised that you've got a couple of needles left over. If you use the GS set, it will have 21. They're just smaller, bigger needle rollers on the GS and smaller on the PX, but they both do the same job. They fill the gap between the casing liner and the cush drive spinning. So let's put these safe somewhere. And we turn that engine casing around to face us. There we go, that's off. So there's our two sides of our engine. Our gearbox, our cush drive, our crankshaft with a taper on it. This is an original Piaggio unit, that is genuine. This is the only engine I've ever built VS5 wise that's had an original crankshaft. I've never seen another one, and I've done quite a few over the years. Built quite a few GS's over the years, and they're basically, you see what I mean with these again, the needle rollers, you need to keep your eye on them. They come out of here. So let's get our picking tool and pick them all out. I don't know why they seem to be magnetised, or my tools seem to be magnetised for some reason. Makes it easier to pick them out. Come on, let go. As you can see, there's quite a few of them. I've never seen these rusty, because they should be packed in grease, and then obviously as the engine beds in, the grease gets replaced with oil. And there's all our bearings out of there. That's completely free now, that housing. You can get new housings if the housing's worn out. That would be excessive mileage. As you can see with the GS, you're kicking over the whole of the first gear. This here goes in on here, so it makes changing gearboxes quite hard, but you can change, like I was saying to you, with the outside of here on the cush drive and to the clutch. You can move up the aspect ratio of the gears up and down slightly. So if you're pulling a sidecar, for argument's sake, then you would want lower gearing. If you're motorway cruising, obviously you want higher gearing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick up all of these and put them in my box, because I don't want to lose any of these. These were new. I replaced all of these. When I built this engine. You will find, if you are buying a GS, there are quite a few people that will help you. The knowledge base is good. And again, there is a new manual out, done by Sticky again, like the Lambretta one, where there's people that do these all the time. Have got their ideas of how you build an engine and and what have you. Right, if we wanted to take the gearbox out, it's circlip, pull it all out. As you can see, I can't really demonstrate to you. I've got a bit of float on there. What I do, I build the gearboxes the same way as the Piaggio factory tell you. So what I do is I build up the gearbox on the lay shaft and put feeler gauges front and back. A lot of people just do it here. So what they tend to have is they have the gears pushed that way tight, and trying to get in fourth gear it'll jump out, stuff like that. So just bear that in mind. You should space it front and back with all PX the lot. This crankshaft now can be knocked out. I'm not going to be reusing it again, but it is a good straight crankshaft. Take out the Woodruff key. Again, these were new. Get it with that. Yeah, and keep that again. Vespas use very, very small, tiny almost Woodruff keys. And there's one for the clutch side as well. I'm just trying to get the oil out of here. I don't really want to take the bottom end apart on here. And as I've already built or rebuilt with PX springs inside that would have been a good video to show people actually what happens with these. If you take this mechanism out, undo the bolt nuts I showed you the other side, take the gearbox out, and it will pull out towards you, and you have to bring it down and out. And if you give it a shake and you hear like a rattle noise, you know your springs inside have gone. Like I say, I changed mine with P200, which have got two springs. You've got a bigger spring and a smaller one. So I've you know, that's the only thing I've done to upgrade the actual cush drive. Because what happens is when you put the engine into gear, there's a big knock on with this inside here. And what it does is instead of it jumping, it absorbs the impact of basically the crankshaft having to put up with all the weight of the bike trying to move. If that's the best way I can describe it, and that's why they call it a cushion drive. Like I say, I rebuilt this and I can't hear, and it's spinning perfectly. I can't feel anything. You get a rattly noise anyway, so I don't really want to do anything with the gears. I'm quite happy. I'm only after getting a bit more speed, but I will clean up all of this. And what I'm going to do is put the nut on here and just knock the crankshaft through, and then we'll discuss things like bearings, oil seals. These are black ones. I thought they were the blue ones, but they weren't. But no big deal. Also as well, the kickstart mechanism, you know, I've not got a stickies book. I don't need it, but if you do, I don't know if they're showing you how to rebuild, you know, the kickstart mechanism, whether they show that. I don't know whether it's worth doing a video of that, pulling it apart and showing people how to do that. You know, drop me a comment if you want me to do that, because the engine is apart now. It's pointless me redoing this again, because I'd only be replacing like for like. You know, there's a band here that basically you preen it over. There is a special tool that knocks these down, but as long as these rivet heads are secure and they don't hit the inside of the casing, a lot of people think they've got to be ultra flat and, you know, look nice and neat. It's got to clear that. If it doesn't clear that, then you can always remove a part of it. You know, it is what it is. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the clutch nut back on again and just give that a tap to get that through the bearing. These were all Italian bearings, brand spanking new, and you know, I don't know whether to replace them or not, because it's it's basically changing the crankshaft to what I'm doing here, and I don't know whether I'm using that crankshaft I showed you in a previous video yet, or I'm going to go long stroke, because I've still got a plan in my head if it fits for a kit, a cylinder kit that you can buy. It's not cheap, but if it fits, and it's not actually for a GS, if it fits, like I keep saying, keep going over, sorry to keep repeating myself, if it actually fits, it will give you probably another 5 or 6 horsepower just on the cylinder itself, but you're going to need a longer stroke crank, and if you're going to go up in performance like that, then you're going to need to upgrade, I would say, to at least a Koza clutch because it's going to have to take all that extra power. These GS clutches with a 6, you know, they had 7 on a P200 spring, so you know there are upgrades to it, and there, you know, you don't have to do upgrades. So it's I might pull the gearbox out. Yeah, I probably will actually. I'm just thinking, clean everything up. Not going to go wrong, is it? I'm not taking the lay shaft out for the simple reason I've got all the seals in there, and I put a new bearing in there. I think Disco Des, he got them remade basically. So, but if you've got an old one, if it's got play in it, you're only going to wreck your oil seal anyway, so you're better off to put a new bearing in anyway. But what we've got to do is claw off the gasket. This is, I'll put gasket seal on this as well. I'll show you something else which I've gone through before with Vespas. On the GS, this is quite a big face here. This face here. On the PX, that's only half the distance, so if you don't build a PX engine properly, you'll get gas coming out of there into the oil and vice versa, and your piston will go black as anything within minutes basically. Like I say, these are captive, they can't get out. That's probably why I'm going to take the cush drive apart. I'm not going to rebuild it though, and I'll take, in fact, let's do it now while we're on a roll, sausage roll or whatever. I want one of them. Go into the circlet. Circlet, that's moved actually. It should be around there. Get our pick tool, pick it over. That's it. Some people just use a screwdriver on these. That's off now. There we go. Circlet, shim, and the shim's got a cut out to hold in. Put them to one side, and we've got first gear. You can't mess up the first gear, as was said, because that engages with the kick start. Second gear, it's hard to sort of show you what I'm on about, but it's got a flat side and like a chamfered side. So if you can see, that goes that way on, so that would go that way on, flat to flat, and the same with this one. They also, as well, they all mesh in line. They, you know, I mean, like I say, with these, if you have a look again, that gear hasn't got a single sign of wear on it. They are superb, they really are. You know how they make them basically. So, you know, and they survived all them years of driving and driving and driving. That goes towards the inside here. So what I was saying was, if you build up your gearbox, put your feelers through, so you want half the distance here and half the distance on there, so 2 feeler gauges need moving. And again, you can see slight wear on the cruciform, but you know, it's not bad, is it? It's still square. So I would leave that again. It moves in and out freely. I am going to actually soak up this oil. It's all going to go on the floor anyway, so keep soaking it up. Where's me? Right. One away. I use millions of rags on scooter engines all the time. That's good enough. It's not fully out, but I'll explain something as well with the with the lay shaft. I need another rag, so I'm just going to go and get a rag. I've got one here. I don't need to go and get one. Just wipe my gloves. Right, on this lay shaft here, you've got to clear, I can't feel it on there. It's got to knock out and basically allow room for this to drop out the way. So let me just move that in there a bit. It's out the way. And what I'm going to do is give that a gentle tap. Should really have this in the vise. I need to give it a gentle tap. Still got my rear hub spacer on there, which is needs to come out. Fighting me all the way again. What we can do. There's a double nut, and you've got a washer that has got a cutout in it so it goes up against the clutch cover. They've kept that style on all the PXs and subsequent engines. That's what I say, they evolve rather than, you know, grow up into something massive. Like redesigning stuff. If it works, don't fix it. I'm going to continue to do this. All I'm doing is tapping it. Through the bearing. There it goes. Don't look pretty, but we're not doing any damage. There you go. What I was trying to explain was, and I couldn't feel it, was in the lay shaft there's a cutout there, flat piece, that has to clear the cush drive or the cush drive won't come out. That's a spacer between the bearings. We need to keep that and keep that clean. And if you look inside there, we've got our lay shaft, which is completely free now. And we can just knock that, tap that through. It's not going through straight, but it's going through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move you and actually put this in the vise because I'm fighting against stuff again.